Greetings and welcome to the Political Ferret Show. Today we tackle the German question because a lot of people tried to do that and a lot of people failed, where I will not. Of course, I am biased, I'm Austrian, and we Austrians, we do not like the Germans, so keep this in mind. But on the other hand, we are very close to them in a lot of ways, and you see, you hate in others what you hate in yourself. And we Austrians, we share some traits with the Germans, so I think I have a good view on the Germans and what is wrong with them, because there is something wrong with them. And if some people, let's say the Americans, the British, the French, whoever does red, blue and white in their flags, if they try to tackle that, they do this from their own point of view. But you have to understand it from a more German point of view. So the view that a lot of people from outside of this culture have is that the Germans are unique in one certain way. They take ideas from outside, give it within this German think machine, then revolve around, and then there comes a Germanized version out of that. Then this is true to a certain degree, but it does not explain everything. But let's take the moment right now. Germany tries to include one particular thing into their own culture, seppuku. What is seppuku? Well, it is a way of restoring your honor by killing yourself in a terrible and hurtful way. And this is what Germany does right now. Is this all what Germans do? No, of course not, because a lot of Germans, there are great thinkers in Germany, and there are people like Nietzsche, there are people like Marx, and those people, have they a lot of common? I would say no, not really. But what brings all the German thinkers together? It is a skepticism against individuality and meritocracy. So the thing is, we have the situation everywhere that there are people who are very smart, there are people who are average, and there are people who are stupid. In the national order, or in the thing of the Germans who are very fond of order, it is absolutely clear that you can sort these people. You can say, okay, all the stupid people over there, all the clever people over there, and then we have a system where the most clever ones are on the one hand and the stupid ones are on the other side. And then you can do something with that, like say, okay, we have hierarchy, so let's put the most clever ones on top of the hierarchy and then the stupid ones in the bottom and the rest just in the middle. And this makes perfectly sense, because this is how it should be. And this is meritocracy, the rule of the most able. But the thing is, how do you measure that? How do you measure who is the most able? You measure it by success. And this is something that the Germans do not like. And must be quite confusing, especially for the Americans, who operate exactly from that pattern, who say, okay, those people who are successful, those are the able ones. The Germans do not think that way. The Germans say, okay, there are some people who are more clever, and those people should lead. And if those people are not on the top, there is something wrong, which makes those people who are very clever very, very angry. And this is nothing new. Everywhere in the world the same thing happens. But the problem with the Germans is that all the rest of the people, especially the very stupid ones, also get very, very angry. If not those people who are very, very intelligent, they think at least, are on top. And this is where shit normally hits the fan. And this thing is of course true in the professional field, in the government, but it should also be with the world. The most able people should lead the world. So it is a technocracy. It is the rule of the expert, of the most clever. And how do the Germans now determine it, who is the most clever? With a piece of paper that the state gives you. The state gives you a little piece of paper where it stands that you are an expert. And the idea there is then that those people who are experts then can give more or less other paper to people below them and can say, okay, you are something like an expert, you are below me, but you're still kind of an expert. And then you build the whole pyramid above that with a lot of pieces of paper in between. And a lot of people think it goes from down up. You start with some papers and then you accumulate more and more papers, and in the end you're an expert. But in truth it is the other side around. Those people on the top give papers down and define therefore who the expert is. But some people who have a lot of these papers, they do not do also well in the reality, in the economy. So why is that? If we have this block here right now that represents everything that is to know. Let's say here's everything you have to know about biology, and here in this column there's everything you have to know about physics, and over here there's everything you have to know about soccer. There is of course a degree. You have upmost there 0%, you do not know anything about it, and in the bottom you have 100%, you know everything about something. And we all come into this world with knowing absolutely nothing about everything, so there's nothing. But then we can learn a little bit. But then there are those people who know about a very tiny degree everything. So this is this T profile. There are those people who know nothing about everything, and then there are some people, they know everything about pretty much nothing. Those people who know absolutely nothing about everything we call idiots. Those people that know about one itsy-bitsy tiny piece of knowledge everything we call experts. And that's the problem, these two things are quite close in the end. Because in reality it looks something like that. You know a lot, but surely not everything, and then there are some things that you know somehow a little bit and so on. So who is now more clever? Those people who have a wider view, or those people who know absolutely everything about the itsy-bitsy tiny proportion of something? And this is the big question that is answered differently by, let's say, a more entrepreneur people like the Americans, who will say those people who have a broader view and can use this view to do something with that and to achieve success. They say those people are more intelligent. But the Germans say no, it's not. It's the expert. It's those people who know absolutely everything about one tiny thing. And that's the problem in the end. So in a perfect world, those people with the highest IQ will do the most out of that, or in theory at least it is like that. Those people who are very clever make a lot of money, which is often true, but not necessarily. But it does absolutely not mean that those people who are very intelligent have the coolest pieces of paper. Often that's not the case. Because to achieve these pieces of paper, you have not to be necessarily all that intelligent. There are other figures involved with that. So in the end, IQ is not that important. And the people will see that those people with these cool pieces of paper, those are the real intelligent, because those people have the cool papers. It all revolves around Ordnung, order. The Germans like it orderly, and if I say that, I mean that. They like it orderly. Everything is ordered in Germany. Go over there, make your own view. It is like that. And if something is not in order, some authority has to step in and make it orderly. And because order is the most important virtue of its own, it is absolutely key for the Germans that those people who believe in order and are able to bring order to the world are clearly superior to those people who do not see it that way. So in the natural order of things, the orderly people are upmost. And if those pesky people below you do not believe you, well, there are ways to make them believe. This is das deutsche Wesen, the German spirit. And a lot of people misunderstand that. They think that the German view is that they have to stand on top of the hierarchy of nations. This is not true. The view of the Germans is that there is a whole world that has to become a little bit more orderly, a little bit more German. And even the French should adopt this orderly manner. And if they don't, they are just stupid. And this is pretty much the problem with the Germans. The Germans have strange views on order, and these views change over and over and over again over the decades. But this is what ties all the German philosophies together. It is the idea that there is a superior order, and this superior order, if adopted by all, will bring up a utopian future, a wonderful, orderly future, without such chaotic things like war. The Germans really do not like war. They want order, and everything is determined by a view of creating order over chaos. And they perceive chaos everywhere. The reason for that is that life is chaos. And the idea of the Germans to bring order to every chaotic system is the reason why we have a German problem over and over and over again. Perhaps they are successful right now by adopting seppuku and killing off all their nation. Perhaps the chances stand quite good right now. But then somebody else will come up with the same problematic view, that you have to order everything, and that there is a superior form of order that will win against chaos. But this is against nature, against life. Chaos is not a bad thing, but the Germans will never ever understand that. Thanks for watching, like, share, especially to Germans, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.